Hey everyone, this is Rabbitearsblog, and welcome to another of my TV episode review series. Today's TV episode review is going to be on the fourth episode of Arrow, the Magician. Now, what this episode is about is that in this episode, Nyssa comes back and she wants to know what happened to Sarah. And Oliver is forced to tell Nyssa that Sarah had died. And that's when they all started thinking that Malcolm Merle was the one who murdered Sarah because he happened to come the same day that Sarah was murdered. And so Nyssa tries to go after Malcolm Merle in revenge of Sarah's death. But Oliver was trying to tell Nyssa, don't kill Malcolm because I think that Malcolm didn't really kill Sarah, and I believed him when he said he didn't kill Sarah, and also he's Thea's father, so I don't want to take away Thea's father away from her. So basically in this episode, Nyssa and Oliver are like buddy heads with each other about what to do with Malcolm Merle, and we're trying to decide if Malcolm Merle is really the one who killed Sarah. Excuse me. So my thoughts in this episode. Let's talk about some positive things about this episode. I love the fact that in this episode we actually learn more about Malcolm Merle, and it was interesting to see how the Arrow team did suspect him to be like the one to kill Sarah, since in the past he was kind of a villain. He did terrible things in the past, so of course the Arrow team suspected Malcolm being the one to murder Sarah. And it was interesting to see Nyssa come back in this episode and see what happened to Sarah, because we haven't seen her for a while. But it was great to see Nyssa trying to get vengeance on Sarah's death, since it's obvious that she cares about Sarah too. So I really like that development with Nyssa about how she's so upset about Sarah's death. And then you see those moments between her and Laura about how Laura feels the same way, that Malcolm Merle needs to be killed to avenge Sarah's death. And I liked how this episode actually explored with Oliver's moral dilemma about how he doesn't want to kill people anymore, and that's the reason why he didn't want to kill Malcolm Merle, because he has a code that he doesn't want to like kill people anymore. Excuse me. And also because of the fact that Malcolm is Thea's daddy. So what is Oliver gonna do if Thea finds out that he killed Malcolm Merle without any solid evidence of whether or not Malcolm Merle was the one who killed Sarah? So I really liked how this episode really explored all those themes, like explored Nissa's vengeance against Malcolm Merle for killing Sarah, and it also shows the moral dilemma that Oliver gets into about whether or not he wants to kill Malcolm Merle or not. And I think this episode really handled this problem very well. Now, here's some negative things about this episode. Like, I was a bit upset that we didn't see enough of Thea in this episode. I would have thought that Thea would have been a major part of this episode because, well, Malcolm is her daddy, so of course, why wouldn't she get involved in this? And we didn't see a lot of her new sword fighting moves. Like, I really wanted to see Thea actually get into the action, but I think they excuse me, but I think they wouldn't reveal all that till like much later on in the season. So I guess we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen with that. But I would have loved to see more Thea in this episode, see how she reacted to everybody suspecting that Malcolm was the one who could have killed Sarah, if what he says was true, that he wasn't the one who killed Sarah. But I would have liked to see how Thea would have reacted to all of that, and how her feelings about Malcolm Merle would have changed because of those accusations. And I also want to see her actually fight in this episode, but again, I don't think we're going to see that till much later on, or whenever she starts revealing her secret to Oliver in the later seasons. So overall, I give this episode a thumbs up. Like, aside from the fact that Thea didn't show up a lot in this episode, I thought this episode was very well done. It's explored the moral dilemma that Oliver was going through, and I also like the fact that we actually see Nyssa come back in this episode, and see how she feels about Sarah's death. And also we actually get a very special villain that comes at the end of this episode. I think most of you read the comics probably already know who this villain is. He's the leader of the League of Assassins, so you probably know who this villain is, and I'm really excited to see what they're going to do with this character for the rest of Arrow. Well, that's my TV episode review on Arrow the Magician, and be sure to follow me on Twitter so I can keep you updated on any new videos I post up, and also tune in every Saturday for new TV episode reviews from this channel. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is Rabbitearsblog, and I'll see you later.